Yes, sound is not just your spiritual development. You can also help other, heal other with the sounds, like our brain waves or binaural sounds. Nobody believes me. Even I talk to the doctors. Unfortunately, that time binaural sounds are not much discovered, or science have no such ideas about that. We have alpha, beta.
Never allowed my mom also after a couple of years after marriage. So he said, you become a doctor, you become an engineer. And I said, none of you are that. How do I become a doctor? Why should I become a doctor? So and I said, the whole world needs to know this. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. When it's healing and when it ends somebody's suffering and when it elevates your level of consciousness, then definitely.
After my D.Litt, I wrote approx 19 books.
जैसे सूरज की गर्मी को जलते हुए तन से मिल जाए तरवर की छाया, वैसा ही सुख मेरे मन को मिला है जब से शरण तेरी.
Because wherever you are, even you know you're not know, there are more than 50 sounds are there. And usually many times I proved it. Even you are alone in your room, closed room, there are more than 50 sounds are there. And that your ear have a very strong power to listen more than 10,000 sound in one moment. Means your ear is most sensitive and powerful radar in the world.
Namaste. Welcome to Voice of Sanatan Hinduism. I'm your host, Geetha, the Divine Song. Today we have awesome guests from India and Houston joining us. We have with us Archana Nigamji and Raghavendra Sangarji, who are organizing this free orientation workshop on primordial sound meditation, Hatha Yoga. We have Guruji, Dr. Rajesh Raj, Doctor of Literature in Parapsychology and Ph.D. in Human Consciousness. And Guruji has 25 years of experience that includes Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, Tantra Vidya, Prana Vidya, Hatha Yoga, Holistic Healing and Yogic Sciences. And we do have one special guest, Meenal Nigamji. Meenal Nigamji, who is a yoga therapist since 2 decades, sound yoga expert, Bhakti and Sufi singer. She is none other than Popular Bollywood Singer's Sonu Nigamji's sister. So without further delay, let's talk to them about Primordial Sound Meditation Workshop that's happening in Pearland, Texas, in Greater Houston area on Saturday, September 16th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Meenakshi Temple Society. So let me introduce Archana Nigamji and Raghavendraji for organizing this workshop, who are bringing us this beautiful program to Houston.
Thank you, Geetha ji. Namaste. Thank you, Geetha ji, for helping us promoting this event and bringing us on this platform. Greatly appreciate all the efforts. Thank you to our guest as well. So we are bringing this workshop because we believe in non-invasive therapies and techniques. Both Raghavendra ji and myself, we are scientists by profession. Right now, we both are working with the scientific instruments as well as behavioral health companies. So we know the need, market needs right now. There are some unmet needs in the market that need to be addressed, especially when we talk about non-invasive therapies. And that's the reason we got connected to Meenal ji and Guruji, and we wanted to promote primordial sound meditation techniques. We wanted to explore it further and understand the clinical relevance out of it. So still more to explore, but this is just the first step. And we are very excited to bring this orientation workshop, which is happening on 16th of September at Meenakshi Temple. We will share the flyers with you, and you can see the scan code, QR code, which can be scanned and you can register for the workshop. And this is going to be interactive session. So we can have Guruji's teachings, and we can also have some practical knowledge from Meenal ji. And we will also have Q&A session during the workshop.
Awesome,
so that's
awesome.
all we have to share. Thank you.
And Guruji, Dr. Rajesh Raj is the director and founder of Ritanvesh Yogyan Foundation. They are bridging the gap between ancient wisdom and modern science. It's not just a belief system, but it's connected to modern science. And they're bridging that gap where the current generation can easily connect. Without further ado, let's introduce Dr. Rajesh Rajji, Yogi Rajji Guruji, who is I can say pioneer by seeing at the expertise he has. And he's going to highlight history and science of Nada Yoga and Nada Sadhana, and also role of Guru in this journey. I think in the workshop, all these things are going to be addressed, and practical experience of the divine sounds. So there's a difference between sound and divine sound. So welcome to our program, Guruji. Namaste.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really grateful to you all that give me a chance where I can explain my findings, what I got to understand with the science of this sound. And very interesting way you say the difference between the divine sound and the sound. Yes, when you listen the sound with the divinity, then it is divine sounds. Every sounds could be divine. So later on, we discuss a lot of things about the sound, and then you will understand and explore the new dimensions of science, not only in the limitations of physics, but yes, of course, in the limitations of spirituality, especially what our Sanatan culture explored many thousand years ago, before how we listen the sounds in different ways. Yeah.
You have expertise in a lot of other yogas like the Tantra Vidya, Prana Vidya, Hatha Yoga. But what made you focus more on Nada Yoga or, divine sound vibrations?
Well, these are my studies. Actually, my basic study was on human consciousness. And while my studies on human consciousness, I went through many different subjects, like, Tantra or Vedic literatures and the yoga literatures. And I went through several practices, and more than 500 different ashrams and traditions. I learned the meditation there. I try to understand how human consciousness evolved with the practices of mantra and different systems. During all these things, my personal sadhana, which is somehow the Nada Yoga or Nada Sadhana, which is I'm going to explain in great detail. That is my personal sadhana, which I was doing from very small age. I can say it's very surprising. The year of 4 5, I started my practice. So I tried to correlate them with this, and I found very tremendous information and my mind-opening things, how I can correlate with the Tantra knowledge, yogic knowledge like Yoga Sutras, with this divine understanding with the sound. So even my areas are very different, like Tantra, like yoga, like holistic healing. But somehow I felt that in the the midline is the Nada Yoga. With the Nada Yoga, I can achieve anything, whatever I wanted in life, and I can give whatever people want in their life.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Everybody wants to achieve what they want. So this is something which is very interesting. But when you said 4 5 years old, were you initiated or were you a natural to Nada Yoga? It came to you.
Well, I'm very blessed in one sense that I got a family where my grandfather was really master of Nada Yoga. So since by birth, I can say I got such blessings of my grandfather and my parents, who taught me in very early age to understand the Nada Yoga. I want to tell you a story of my childhood. When I was young, I have a duty that every day I have to find out a new sound, and I have to explain it in my spiritual diary in very early age. So every day I try to listen a new sound, and that sound, and I have to write new sound. I have not to repeat it. So every day I have to find new one. So sometimes I go to the garden, in the bushes, and somewhere else to find the new sounds. And every day I have to write down about the new sound. This somehow you can say stimulate my listening sense. And I was very aware of every type of sounds so that I can get some new sound. So you can say this way, I started my journey. Although my grandfather was a great master regarding all these things, he not taught me directly or initiate me directly, but in very small areas, he used to tell me how to be a good listener, how you have to listen the sounds without attachment, how to know the sound, you can say, without knowing the source. How can you go with the one with the waves, how you find the frequencies. So these things I learned before I get initiated. So I get initiated in a proper age. We say it is like 12, 13 of the age. But before that, I got so many trainings. How can I develop myself to be a good listener?
Wow, you're an institution of Nada Yoga itself. That's how.
Well, I tried my best.
Wow. So for a commoner, what is Nada Yoga?
Great. So let me explain a little bit thing. Directly, I come to your question. Somehow there is a belief in this system that our world is permeated throughout by the waves and vibration. Some call it anhad and other call it anahat. So somehow you can say a sound which brings harmony to the emotions and allows recognition to unresolved emotions. What you have to need is to listen. What the base part, you listen the sounds, you go close to the source without recognizing it, without attachment, and you merge with the sound, not to the source, but to the sound. And when you merge with the sound, unite with the sound, you somehow be with the wavelength, be with the frequency, and at the end, you become the sound. You start your journey with a listening a sound, be a listener, and then you become a sound. When you become a sound, this is somehow called Nada Yoga. Yoga has three basic meaning. When the first meaning is yuj, the yoga came from the dhatu. We say in a Sanskrit, dhatu means main word, base word is yuj. Yuj means to unite. The second meaning is samadhi. And the third meaning is yukti, upay. These three basic meaning of the dhatu yuj. Here we get the first meaning is unite, union. So when you listen the sound and when you unite with it, that's called Nada Yoga. But unite in not in a normal sense, in a sense when you become a sound. And it is a big thing. It's not so, neither it is so easy or not whatever I say. You need to become, you see, one basic, very important part. When you are listening, that time your mind is not wavering, you are not thinking. So two things you cannot do together. The wavering of mind, your thinking, and the listening. So if you are a listener, you are a meditator. So if you are not listening, then your mind is working, mind is wavering. So listening naturally makes you concentrate, not naturally make you out of your mind, out your thought. And then slowly, when you merge with the sound, when you become with one with the sound, then fantastic thing happens to you and your consciousness. That is what the Nada Yoga is.
So at what age did you realize this impacts your life as well as others?
After my grandfather, he died when I was 15 years of my age. So I couldn't get a lot of his blessings and teachings. But in age of 20, I found my guru, Vaman Devji, in Assam. It is northeast of India. And from there, I started the real journey, or you can say spiritual journey of Nada Yoga. Although I feel my first guru is my grandfather, but I say my real guru is Vaman Devji. And just 17, 18 of my age, I felt there is something. Listening of subtle sounds is not my aim. Might be something is there with the sound. At that age, I felt sound comes with emotions, sound comes with different mediums, and sound I can classify in a several way. I can intersect sound in many different parts. So I wanted to become a scientist in a sound, but somehow my family not supported very much. Anyways, they wanted me to be a engineer in a railway. Sorry, somehow my father is a engineer in a railway, so he was not understood what my queries, my inner queries are there actually. So when I got my real master in age of 20, there I felt, oh, it's awesome. I'm just a drop. And then I started finding the different areas, branches, and dimensions of the sound. And there I started a point, yes, sound is not just your spiritual development. You can also help other, heal other with the sounds. That time, whenever I used to talk about the sounds, people have very less idea about it. And when I talked about, oh, sound can heal, or we have some sounds like our brain waves or binaural sounds, nobody believes me. Even I talked with the doctors. Unfortunately, that time, binaural sounds are not much discovered, or science have no such ideas about that. We have alpha, beta, theta, these type of brain waves. Also, we have grid of uh, you can say uh, magnetic fields of these vibrations. People have, or even very literate people, science masters, teachers, they don't have these ideas. So when I started talking about we can use our brain waves, we can use some sounds and that, so very less people used to understand me. People take me so easy, and I was really very young that time. I thought I need to understand it more, and I have to do some more scientific researches. I did my PhD to understand the human consciousness. After my D.Litt, I wrote approx uh, 19 books, mostly in Korean language, because I spent a lot of time in South Korea as a professor in Wongkong University. And I wrote several papers, more than 200 research papers nationally and internationally. And I wrote about how this sound, the power of the sound can evolve our consciousness, can heal other. We can make these as a therapy, not only just like supporting or harmonize our emotions, balance our body, but also many other things. If you can, if I want to say about the benefits, then yes, it assists in, dislodging unresolved energy in the subtle energy body, which creates the blockage and discomfort. That is the basic way how you can treat with the sound. It balances to use the, you can say, left and the right hemisphere of the brain to decrease stress, create relaxation, and improve sleep. It stimulates the production of endorphins hormone and reduces the production of stress hormones. That is really grateful. In many seminars, in many camps, actually, I work with some sounds, with some vibrations, and I try to teach them. And I wanted to heal them with the benefits of Hatha Yoga.
So when you're talking about sounds, when people come to this workshop, so are you going to initiate them with sounds which they can practice on a daily basis?
Well, this program is, I don't think I could initiate them. Initiation in another word. There is two types of initiation. Sorry, I have to say this.
Sure.
One initiation is when I really give him in a proper way of practice. Like normally I give an initiation for 100 hours of practice. Well, those who want to go very deep in that practice. One is just you direct some people, okay, you do this and do that. If you have some problems, if you have some health issues, if you have some social issues, emotional issues, then you do this practice and then you can come out from this. So it is, you can say, a normal motivation or normal direction towards the practice. Initiation word normally we use in a deeper language, in a deeper sense. when we really initiate some person, then we are going to give them a practice of 100 hours. Okay, so you go very deep, different types of sounds are there, try to listen it, try to merge with it, and develop your consciousness, explore the hidden potential of your being. That is actually, I need to explain. Yeah.
Yes. So you talked about modern science and you talked about right and left hemispheres of the brain balancing. But how about are these sounds from ancient scriptures?
Yeah, let me now come to primordial sound. Actually, your question is coming from out from there. So we believe that there are certain sounds in a cosmos, and these sounds, we need to explore it. So very in an introductory level, I can say there are basic 4 types of sound. One is Bakri sound, that sound which we easily hear, and in a scientific limitation, we can say between 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That limitation, we can easily listen the sound. So that sound is known as Bakri sound. Many practices are based on Bakri sound, in which we try to make them aware of different sounds they can feel with the ear sounds. They can speak, they can practice some songs, mantra, chantings, hummings, and several bija mantras are there. There are the Bakri sounds. So another type is Madhyama sound. These sounds are little subtle and they cannot be easily heard by our ear. Or you can say, rather than we hear, we feel those sounds. We feel it rather than we can say hear it, because the hertz, we can say it is lesser. So when we feel these sounds, then, for example, just I say your heartbeat. Normally, we cannot listen our heartbeat, but we can feel it. If you are in silence, if you are in a little meditative state, then you can feel the heartbeat. Like that, our brain also have some brain waves like alpha waves, beta, theta, delta, gamma. We talk about in our conference in detail about all this. So when we focus very minutely, we can feel it. And when we feel it, then we have a lot of benefits also. But this level is called Madhyama sound. Now, third types of sound, which I'm going to tell you, it is really surprising. When I first time heard that, it is really astonishing anybody. I will say the third sound is just not sound. It has light. You can see it. Means this type of sound is known as Pasyanti Nad, Pasyanti sound. Pasya means to see. For example, there is a term Vipassana. Pasya is a dhatu where means to see. So when we say Pasyanti Nad, a sound which we can see, which we can perceive not only by hear or by as a vibration, but as a light. At that time, sound has the light and light has the sound. So it is the third level. We say Pasyanti Nad. And that is a level where we can listen many cosmic sounds. As you asked, we say primordial sound, the sound which exists in our cosmos, but normally we are not so subtle. Our senses are not so advanced, so that we cannot normally listen it. So at the various type of practices of Madhyama, we explore this level and try to find out some cosmic sound. In this cosmic sound, we also find a lot of therapy, lot of opening of our mind, and as well as lot of so primordial sounds, which you can find connected with our ancient Vedic system. When I say Vedic literatures, I hope you all know about it. You know, we say Veda as a Shruti. You know, Shruti, what does Shruti means? Shruti means jise suna gaya, to which listened, which listened. So the Vedic literature, the base literature, Samhitas are listened. Wo dekha nahi gaya, it is not seen. This is not philosophy. You know, philosophy, we say darshan. You should understand this nice, beautiful language in Sanskrit. Darshan means to see. Normally, we use to see. But our Vedic literatures are not actually darshan. They are shruti. They listened. And it is not only in Hinduism. If you go to Islam, जो आयतें हैं वो उतरी कानों के द्वारा. It came from the ear to them. All the ayat of the Quran, they listened. Somehow, in many, even in Buddhism, in Christianity, I have several examples in the holy books, which say word is God, God is word. And somehow the word has a power like God, or God could express itself in the words. God is the music of, the world is the music of God. This type of statements. You were there in all different religions. So somehow I was going to say the missing point, which we missed it is there. Shruti is there all over in the cosmos. The rishis heard them. They listened them. So that's why it is Shruti. And they kept it for our benefit. Those things, those Shrutis, which is kept and explained with by the rishis, are called as Smriti. That is difference between Shruti, which is listened, and whatever listened, memorized and explained, it is called as Smriti. So this is the basic understanding of the Vedic literature, So what actually I mean to say, at the third level, you are going to listen so many primordial sounds, where the Vedic culture came from, the Vedic traditions came from. All these finest word, I will explain about Matrika in my classes. What is the meaning of Matrika? We normally understand Matrika as an alphabet. No. Matrika means Mata. Matrika is the mother. We'll understand what exactly means Matrika and why Matrika creates the syllables, the words of the mantras. So in great detail, I will explain the third level. And fourth level of sound is called para sound, para dhvani, para nad. And that is unexplainable. Those sounds are there which you can not say anything. I'd like a small permission from your side to say a small shairi in Hindi, if you permit.
Please do.
नजर को मोड़ दुनिया से, नजर को मोड़ दुनिया से, नजारे देख अंदर के, नई दुनिया नया जलवा, नई दुनिया नया जलवा, बड़ा दिलकश है अफसाना, बड़ा दिलकश है अफसाना, छत्तीसों राग रागिनियां, छत्तीसों राग रागिनियां बजा करती वहां हरदम, सुना जिसने वही जाने, सुना जिसने वही जाने, बड़ा मुश्किल बता पाना, बड़ा मुश्किल बता पाना. So I hope those who understand the Hindi, they can understand the things. I just, in short, I translate in English that if you just mold your vision inside, then you'll feel a new way of life, a new world. And when you explore this new world, you will feel 36 different types of primordial sounds. And those sounds, those who listened, they can only listen, they cannot explain. These sounds cannot be explained, unexplainable, anirvachaniya, avarnaniya. So I cannot tell about the fourth level, the para sound. But yes, up to the three sounds, I can explain a lot about the science, about the functions, about the benefits and all. Yeah.
Very, very beautiful.
I'm not saying Hatha Yoga is only for the musician or with the music lovers. It is for everybody. Because when you feel the peace, the relaxation, the inner enjoyment or inner satisfaction, you will love to listen it and everyday practice it. So without any Hatha Yoga, without any tapas, or you say without doing the Vrishchik asana and many different difficult postures of Hatha Yoga, without difficult pranayama and kumbhak, actually it is a practice where you listening the melodious sound and just merge with the sound and get enlightened, isn't it?
No, it's a very beautiful and easiest way to get enlightened, is what I felt by listening to you. When you said music lovers, so without further ado, I would love to introduce Meenal Nigam ji. Meenal Nigam ji is none other than popular Bollywood singers Sonu Nigam's sister. And she has been a yoga therapist since 2 decades now. And she's a sound yoga expert, Bhakti and Sufi singer. And she's promoting Nada Yoga. And let's talk to Meenal Nigam ji and find out more about Nada Yoga and how her life impacted with Nada Yoga. Namaste, Meenal ji. Once again, you've been on Voice of Sanatan Hinduism this Sunday. Thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. Welcome to Voice of Sanatan Hinduism again. Love to hear from you how you started your journey into bhakti, even though there was a big Bollywood influence in your family, which we all know. Sonu ji is such a big star.
Thank you for having me here, Geetha ji. Pranam to my Guru ji, Pranam Archana ji, Raghvendra ji. So I'm here because of the grace of my Guru. I would just say that I'm on the path because I was destined to be on this path. And I took birth in a family which is full of musicians. Even my grandfather was a flute player and a very good singer. My father, mother met as singers and they, fell in love. And my brother has been singing ever since he started creating sound from his mouth. He was always singing, and there's only 11 months gap between me and my brother. So we were literally like twins raised as twins. So at a very young age, he started performing. My parents used to perform, they used to go for events to perform. And my brother accompanied him because he was also, crazy after singing. At the age of 4, he literally cried and he wanted to go up on the stage and he wanted to hold the mic. And when he did hold the mic, he never left it. So my problem as a kid was I was a very energetic kid, extremely energetic kid. And my parents, because they had to go for a performance, used to rest in the afternoons. And that time I didn't know what to do because we didn't have many toys and we were coming from a very humble background and we didn't have many toys. I didn't have many friends. So I used to switch on the radio and listen to some, a program for half an hour, 1 hour on bhajans. So from there I got attracted. I didn't know the meaning. A very beautiful song. जैसे सूरज की गर्मी को जलते हुए तन से मिल जाए तरवर की छाया, वैसा ही सुख मेरे मन को मिला है जब से शरण तेरी आया. So I heard the song and I started crying. And I didn't know why I was crying as a 9-year-old child. I didn't know why I was crying. And I kept crying and weeping and I didn't know what it meant exactly. Little bit I knew. And then it was a normal practice, a daily practice for me to sit and listen to the bhajans. So my father is actually from, he is a singer very actively. Now they just completed a tour, US tour, and he was actively singing at this age also. So he was a little more overprotective about me. So he wouldn't allow me to sing any commercial songs. So when I expressed my desire to sing, like the 3 of them, so he said, no, you're not meant for all this. He thought it's just a medium to maybe earn some money. And he never allowed my mom also after, a couple of years. After marriage. So he said, you become a doctor, you become an engineer. And I said, none of you are that. How do I become a doctor? Why should I become a doctor? So my mother, I used to tell her that, Ma, I want to sing and he doesn't allow me to sing. So she said, Beta, and she respected his, this overprotective nature. She said, because he's seen how females, back then, it wasn't a good line for the females because as you know, that exposure was not much. And so my father used to say that, you are meant for better things. This is too much struggle and you don't have to sing in front of all the people and, kind of remarks they give to the singer. I don't like it. So my mom said, please continue singing. Don't leave singing. Whenever you get a chance, don't sing in front of him. If it upsets him, do it whenever you get a chance. So I used to listen to songs and I used to repeat those bhajans, whenever I got time and a chance, not in front of my father. So later, I started doing riyaz. Like I heard my parents do riyaz and it was a totally musical atmosphere. And I also heard the nuances. The way he used to teach my brother, he was my brother's guru, and the way he used to teach my mom and my brother, he used to make them listen to each line that Rafi Saab sang or Lataji sang, and he would say, go back and listen again. And I would be like, quietly sitting there, just wondering what's wrong with this singing. They're doing it exactly the way it's sung by the experts, So later I understood, oh no, when he explained, then I got, the idea of he's saying this is a very little nuance, where he wants them to touch that note properly, or the bhav has to come. So when you're singing, a song which is romantic, you have to really feel romantic from inside and then sing. Or if there's some pain that you're trying to express through the song, the pain should be expressed through your voice. It should feel, the listener should feel that pain through your voice. So I got into the habit of listening, not the way Guruji is teaching now, but as a child, I could gather that you have to be a good listener. Music is not all about entertainment. You have to listen and you have to try and emulate, the singers. Later, when I started doing my riyaz, I would connect to the deities. For hours, I would just that I would make, a geometrical figure in my mind. I would close my eyes and sing. And that was a very amazing experience. I said, why am I seeing the deities? Why am I? And I would feel that I'm surrounded by these energies. And as I'm singing more deeply, they're coming closer to me. And I'm becoming one with them. So this was my game as a child. And I did it very often, and I used it to heal others also. I don't know how much it worked, but that was my intention of healing people through sound back then as a kid. And I'm lucky to have found my, the appropriate guru. I would say I've had many gurus. I've learned Reiki, Sekim, I've done my grandmastership, I've done my hypnotherapy, And then I met my Guru Swami Niranjan Ji from Bihar School of Yoga. And there I saw the atmosphere. From 2016, I've been trying to research and find out more about the power of sound, because I saw that the whole ashram used to resonate with the songs, the bhakti songs and the stutis and the stotras. And I was fascinated. I said, this is healing in itself.
It's such a beautiful journey you had. I feel that you're so blessed to have such parents, and you're naturally getting attracted to bhakti and the songs. That's really a blessing, or maybe your previous lifetimes, karmas. But when it comes to Hatha Yoga, so how did you connect to Hatha Yoga after all this bhakti and Bollywood, bhakti, Sufi songs, and then Hatha Yoga? How did you?
When I went to my ashram, Bihar School of Yoga, Munger, I heard the sounds, and I heard the bhakti songs. And then there was an article, there was a book on Hatha Yoga, and it's mentioned everywhere. Then later I realized that it's in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. It's many Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. It's a very essential part of your learning. And I also learned that it's a culmination point of your sadhana. Whatever you do, Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Pranayama, Mudras, meditations, you have to come to this point to, finally get the liberation that we talk about, so fondly in all the books we read. And so I read about it, but I couldn't find a guru, who would teach me, because in that ashram, they don't teach Hatha. They don't initiate.
So you already read about Hatha Yoga before meeting Guruji?
Yeah, I was also teaching. I was teaching a very basic level, a very westernized way version of Hatha Yoga in my own way, because I didn't have anyone who would guide me. But through my own researches and my own study, I could, learn. And I was sharing it, and people were getting benefited. They were appreciating it, and I was famous as Hatha Yoga teacher. And then I was very fortunate to have met Guruji, because this is the ancient way of getting initiation from a guru from a parampara, and he's the 108th guru in his parampara, and we are fortunate. Then there's nothing stopping me. Then I said, the whole world needs to know this. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, when it's healing, and when it ends somebody's suffering, and when it elevates your level of consciousness, then definitely. And is there any age restriction to learn Hatha Yoga?
I will say normally in traditions of Hatha Yoga, This in India, we have approx 76, 77 traditions left. Earlier, it was more bigger number. In all traditions, those who cross the 12 or 11 or 12 year of the age, then they are, we say, eligible to initiate the main practice of another yoga. Although before it, you can practice the basic level as Meenal already explained it. But if you go in a depth, deeper level of practices, you need your hormonal function of your brain completely blossom up, open up, and then you should start learning the Nada Yoga meditation. And the upper age has no limit. Until you die, you can practice. So you can start from the age of 11th or 12th.
So when people show up at this workshop, do they need to bring anything? Like, usually yoga means people bring their mats and, they have certain restrictions, like they should not drink or eat before coming to yoga. Are there any restrictions when they show up at the workshop?
I will say they bring their ear.
Yes, yes.
I mean to say they have only one thing. They should come with us some resolution that they will become. They are going to be listener, to be a listener. So that's why I say come with ears. So you are going to not listen my words, what I'm saying, but many things, whatever I will going to say, you to listen there where you are. Because wherever you are, even you know you're not know, there are more than 50 sounds are there. And usually many times I proved it. Even you are alone in your room, closed room, there are more than 50 sounds are there. And if you're outside in your lawn, in your garden, then more than 100 sounds are there. So we are not receiving, actually, we are very selective in nature. We listen whatever you want to listen. So this selectiveness are sometimes good for a natural lifestyle, for your social lifestyle. But in Nada Yoga, you have to be like a radar. You have to be like a radar, and you can listen all the sounds, even which is more subtle and most subtle. So when you try to listen those sounds, then you are being a good practitioner. So that's only the thing that come with your ears.
Guruji, nowadays in closed doors, we can hear AC sound, phone beeping, phone ringing, TV sounds.
Maybe after my session, this thought will change.
It will, yeah. I definitely, I'm very interested because this is my first time listening about Nada Yoga in depth. The way it changes you, and 50 different sounds. It's amazing.
I'm telling you, naturally, we have very different habit of only selective sounds we listen, which we want to listen and which we already listened. We are not really ready to explore the new sounds. So I have to remove some blockage of your listening psychology. So when you do it, then really you will listen many types of sounds. And I'm telling you, varieties of things that would make you a little surprised, that your ear have a very strong power to listen more than 10,000 sound in one moment. Means your ear is most sensitive and powerful radar in the world. It's not so normal. For example, in silent surrounding, we can hear the buzzing sound of a bee from about 6 feet distance. The thickness, even that is our sensor inside our ear, is like 1 upon 10 million ultra thin membrane. This sensing power of ultra thin membrane is 10,000 times more than the most powerful sensor developed by the modern technology. Now you can understand what science I'm talking about. So it's a so powerful thing you have actually, but we are not using that.
We're not using it. Just like the cell phones, we don't use all of it. So, and Guruji, when you're talking about sounds, right? Like last question, because I don't want to go much deeper, but you're making it very inquisitive for me to ask questions. So
Yes.
when you listen to all these sounds, does it help you to level up, to go to the next level? Because is listening very important, like making your ears as a radar? Is it important?
Well, in starting, listening is in beginning make you ready for merging with the sound. If you are not a good listener, you not merge with the sound. Aim is not really only up to the listening, how much you listen, but the aim is to merge with the sound. As just Meenal said that, knowingly, unknowingly, when Meenal was young, she listened the sound and tried to then follow it like that, follow like that. So when you start listening the sound, you are very sensible with the wavelength frequencies and how sounds go up and down. If you have this sense, then it is easy to merge with the sound. The aim is to merge with the sound. So when you merge with the sound, unite with the sound, become one with the sound, then that is the actual practice.
In short, what can people take from this workshop? Can they heal any of the sufferings they have?
The first thing which I say, I already said that it harmonize your emotions. That is nowadays very, very important. We are suffering from emotions. So somehow we harmony our emotions. That is the first part. And second part, as I already said, it unresolve the energy in such an energy body. It balances your energy. And I just said that it stimulates the production of endorphins and reduces the production of stress hormones. What you get in this practice, actually, you increase the confidence in yourself and self-expression, and also in your voice. I'll explain it in great detail. We have no time, but in short, I can say you become more confident about yourself, what you say, what you speak, how you communicate. You become able to enhance the ability to remain clear, focused in this overstimulated society. You can feel how in the just in the first session, 2 hours of session, you can understand how it expands your consciousness and facilitates the ability to reach the altered state of consciousness. Although these are the very big terms, but in short, you can say you boost up your intuitions and the self-awareness. Although if you go through long practices, if I say get initiated in practice for 100 or 1,000 hours of practice, then of course you will change the karma, your past, your present and future karma. And then it allows an awareness of being rather than doing, to increase the sense of isolation and increase the sense of unity and innate connection with the divine.
Wow, very beautiful. Thank you so much, Guruji and Meenalji. It's such a blessing to have you here on my show. And we would love to, Raghavendraji and Archanaji, you can explain about how people can register to this
Sure.
workshop. Like, is there a website they can register? All the admin work. You're in charge of hosting the show.
Yeah, when Archana is pulling that screen, Geetha, I want to kind of express one quick thought that we had in our mind. There is a big science behind this, and that we understand it. But I think for me to bring it to Houston and to basically kind of in the US scenario is to kind of introduce this technology, what I'm calling, to our younger minds. As Guruji alluded to, towards the confidence in their speeches, to their public relation. All this comes from a better listening, better understanding of the communicator, and that is the goal of for me personally, to make it more accessible and to explain to public what this science bring to their lives. It's a simple practice. They don't have to bend their bodies to learn this thing. It is just sitting down and listening and understanding the science. So our son is 15-year-old. We want him to understand the benefit of in the Indian culture and what we have, seen for years, and understand what this technology is all about.
Awesome.
I think Archana just pulled this slide, which has a QR code. So if they can use their phone to scan the QR code or give a call to Archana if there is a difficulty. Her number is 412-613-5349. We could help them register to the workshop. There are not many days left, so do it ASAP.
Awesome. So they can also call and register.
Yes.
Well, we can help them. Yes.
Awesome. Is there a limit, because it's a limited place, and then you might be also closing out, right? If you reach certain limit.
Yes, absolutely, Geetha ji. Yes.
Are you also offering this online or just in person?
Right now, it's in person. And the reason is that we definitely would like to get more feedback because it's going to be interactive session, as I mentioned earlier. We will have Guruji and Meenal ji via Zoom, and we will display them on TV, and they can have interactive session with the audience. With the Zoom link or with the online, yes, there is a possibility you can have the same thing, but we really wanted them to come and feel, and because it's in the temple, vibes will be different. We are also promoting this event on eventbrite.com, so they can search for Primordial sound meditation and they can immediately get it. It's also on Facebook events, so they can also search on Facebook. If they are on Facebook and they are in Sugarland, Fort Bend area, they can quickly get it because it's already on Facebook events site. This is free workshop, orientation workshop, and they can learn a lot about benefits of Nada Yoga, as Guruji mentioned and Meenal mentioned. This will help us to assess their feedback and understand what we need to do in terms of bridging the gap. That's the most important piece here. We would like to bridge the gap. And as I mentioned earlier, and I'm pretty sure Guruji and Meenal will concur with us, there are unmet needs and we are exploring that area.
Awesome.
Guruji and Meenal, any last comments?
Me?
Yes.
I would say that, after attending the workshop, the very first workshop, the orientation itself, you'll learn to value your own sound.
Wow.
Because, when you know something, you respect it more, you acknowledge its presence more, and that's how you can express yourself, because you respect your voice. So you are fearlessly expressing yourself, and that's the change I've seen in myself. And I'm sure everyone who will attend the workshop and the levels with Guruji, they will experience the same thing.
So anytime in the future, are you bringing this workshop online? Because I have some listeners last week, they heard the interview and they would like to join from other countries.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And we can open it up for online sessions in coming months and weeks as well. And we are also planning to bring this workshop in person, because here in Houston, I would say that most of the audience, they want to have in-person workshops. So we would like to bring Guruji and Meenal here in Houston.
That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. And I think even via Zoom interactive session, I don't think you'll miss out anything, because the way Guruji, Meenal has explained it, we can feel their presence. So people will really benefit from this workshop, and it's the easiest way to end your suffering, enjoy, like Guruji was saying. And Guruji, any last words you would like to say?
I want to say to every listener that become a listener. And this is a way that you can feel yourself, because there is not other than you. You are the only. And when you listen, then you will listen yourself. So one and last word I can say, be a listener. Even you present in my program, I will going to make you a better listener. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Really blessed to have you today. And we're really looking forward to the workshop. Thank you. Namaste.